In baseball, as we know, it's probabilities and mathematics. That's the major thing in baseball. Every other sport, it's not really that. But baseball, math comes in a big way, and that's where you have to use it in your advantage. So, as I tell you, draft strategies, people have different strategies. The most common, and I agree sometimes, but people always take a power hitter first. You want that guy who's going to 50 home runs, 120 RBIs. I get it. You feel good about it. It's somebody that's pretty popular. People take power hitters up front. We'll talk about other strategies you can take to counter that because as we know, power hitters are just it's a great category. It is because there's home runs, RBIs, even runs scored. I mean, in slugging percentage, if that's in your league, those are great categories, and that's where power hitters come in. But if you're taking all power hitters, it's going to hurt you in other categories, and we know that. So another strategy that you can take is a guy that's actually more of a stolen base guy that scores runs. Stolen bases is a category people always forget. I mean, it's really true. And that's a category, it means just as much as home runs. And if you're stealing bases, it means you're scoring runs. And usually that guy is hitting really good for average too. So you want to kind of spray players on your team that are stolen base guys also, because that's a category you don't want to give up. You really don't. Because home runs guys are a dime a dozen. Stolen base guys are huge. Even 30-30 guys, if you take them in the first round, that's huge. 20-20 guys, I appreciate also. But if you can get a guy that's 30-30, 40-40, I mean, those guys are the most valuable in the league. And 40-40, I'm saying 40 home runs and 40 stolen bases. That's what that means. 30-30, 20-20. So all that being said, I would go after a guy that can steal and hit home runs in the first round and second round. They can do that. Another category that people don't really take advantage of, but I do, is pitching. I always try to get the best pitchers possible, and I kind of do it in the beginning of the draft in some of my leagues, just because I kind of know the players that I'm playing against in some of the leagues, and they like to take power hitters, and they ignore great pitchers, Cy Young winners, guys who are going to have 20 wins, guys who are going to have a low ERA, everything else. So you should really concentrate on taking starting pitchers up front if you can, unless one of these 40-40 guys come at you and they're available, which is great. But pitching is so important in fantasy baseball, and people kind of wait like later to draft these great pitchers. Huge mistake. Huge mistake. You got to take these pitchers now, and you got to make sure that these pitchers are on your team, because if they're not, it's a big minus. I mean, you'll lose. So again, it's having a balanced team, good pitching, good hitting, but being smart about it. As I tell you guys, if you can just take players that make sense on your team, people go by name value. They look at big market players. Your player doesn't have to play in New York or LA. They could play in Pittsburgh. They could play, let's say, in Toronto, let's say in Arizona. Don't be bought by some guy that's playing in some big market. The smaller markets are good too. The home runs count just as much in small markets. Another thing is in the draft, it's been a big upswing in shortstops. Shortstops have been very plentiful. Like they've been huge, like in baseball, hitting big numbers. A lot of these guys, there's 10 shortstops right now that I feel that all will have that close to the same stats. So you want to go after the positions like third base, maybe catcher, maybe even second base that are not that stacked. That's so important. You got to go after that position that's not stacked if you want to win your league. So before the draft starts, if you can just have that little checklist, and you know what, there's a lot of great hitting first basemen, a lot of great hitting shortstops, a lot of great hitting outfielders. I want to take the third basemen. I want to take the second basemen, even maybe a great catcher, but that gives you a huge advantage. I mean, there's not many great third basemen right now, but down the road maybe there will be. But right now, second base and third base are positions that you should really concentrate on right now. And that will help you a lot. It's a huge advantage. I mean, having a guy that's playing second base that's a 30-30 guy and there's no one else even close to his talent, like playing in the league, you're going to win your league. Trust me. I mean, that position alone you'll just overtake everybody. So again, be aware what positions people play during the draft and take that player you want. Um, that's the most important thing in fantasy baseball. The keys of winning, I just gave you positions, just not taking home run hitters, taking pitching. You'll win. You'll win a lot of your leagues. I win 36% of my leagues that play in. Okay, what does that tell you? That's huge. So I suggest you take my advice, Ross the Boss, and during the season, please watch MFSN The Hub. We'll have shows twice a week at least on baseball, who to pick up, who to drop, who to, what trends are going on. We'll talk about everything. We'll take questions. We'll help you. Please take advantage of us. I'm Ross the Boss, and thanks for watching. If you have any questions on fantasy baseball, go down to the comment and tell us what you want. Press that like button, and we'll see you on the playing field.